Okay, so you've read the title, so here it is. What if you tried to add as many Breaking Bad things to Gmod as you could? That's what we're going to do in this video. New maps, weapons, gameplay changes, and characters to talk about. Now, I'm sure that the vast majority of you have either seen Breaking Bad itself or the memes. Either way, you've heard of it. And one of the many elements of Breaking Bad is the locations. Now, to my surprise, there isn't even an RP map at the start of New Mexico, but we do have separate maps that bring iconic places from Breaking Bad into the realm of the Source engine. Starting off, the Saul Goodman billboards. They're so good that they'll literally fit on any map. Next up, we have the office of the best lawyer in America. It's Saul Goodman, or also known as just the Better Call Saul guy. Can't wait to spam this sound clip with my friends. I'm sure that they'd love it. Oh, and obviously, how could we forget the good man Saul himself? And there are quite a few versions of him. Over there, we have the more blocky mobile game-esque Saul, and weirdly enough, there's even an NPC that uses that model, which plays loud fart noises. Pure chicanery. Breaking Bad is more about realistic appearances, so this model of Saul with multiple suits is obviously the best one. But since that matter is mostly up to preference, all and any Saul men I could find are on the list of the mods. Now, the second most important character, the only man that truly ran out of shots to give. Kid named Finger. Some weirdly call him Mike, even though that's not his name at all. Obviously, it's Finger. Surprisingly accurate looking character model, and well, it's the only one we have, so we don't really have any options here. Walt's favourite apprentice, Jesse the Pink Man, or just Pinkman. He's actually in a workshop, looking as good as a young man full of hope can look, and he definitely won't go through any terrible life experiences, like playing League of Legends. Up next is everyone's good friend Kevin, who is an absolute menace. You know, if you see anybody threatening you, you just call for Kevin. This character is also known as Hank Baldhead Schrader.
Yes, he is also my brother-in-law.
And potentially the most main character in the show. Like, he did not need to do what other, you know.
No.
Sound, especially music, is a pretty important aspect of any show, not just Breaking Bad. And while since these tunes are actually present on a workshop, we're going to get them, as well as the death sound, which plays My Baby Blue. The only problem with that is it can get you a bit agitated when there's a lot of dying happening, as I shall now demonstrate with a handful of bots. A few mods that you'll need before we move on to bigger things: the Heisenberg tool gun and the yellow crowbar, the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul recharger tunes, absolutely necessary for the experience. Welcome to Los Pollos Hermanos. My name is Gus, but you can call me Sus. Gusto Fridge, or just Gustavo Fring, the definition of being hidden in plain sight. Along with this, totally not a money laundering fast food business. Looks pretty nice. I honestly wouldn't even mind visiting it if it were a real place and a real cartel ran it. As long as the food is good, I wouldn't really care then. And here's a minor but interesting thing. There's a Los Pollos Hermanos charm that you can put on your weapon, truly representing the Pollos Hermanos. Now, just as iconic, if not more, the Breaking Bad RV, with an actual interior, openable doors, the lock, Saul's best right-hand man, the legend, the godsend Huel, is unfortunately only present in the form of a JPEG, but nonetheless he is worthy of being mentioned.
Next on the list is laboratory equipment.
You can't really work without that, you know. Or have we learned nothing in Mr. White's chemistry class? The blue rock candy from the show, but it's not just any rock candy. This one is called that one particular name like I got this video age restricted, so let's be careful with that. Obviously Mr. White's house and a pizza, so that we can do the epic reference, which is definitely not overdone. Imagine waking up and deciding that today you're going to drive to that city from Frankenbad and throw a pizza on the roof like Waltuh did in the show. Anyway, I had seriously considered using the Payday 2 map called Cook-Off as a sub for the cooking system, but apparently this map requires its own Gmod, and well, that's boring. And well, as it turns out, there are quite a few systems in a workshop that let you do that anyway. But before we cook, we need to book a round place. And the options are this lab map I found, or the laundromat from the show, which is pretty damn accurate. Also one map, which I'm going to leave for last, and it's really good. But let's move on anyway. The cooking systems, honestly tried all of them, and they're pretty good for the most part, but I think it'd be better if you had all of these options in case, my preferences don't really line up with your preferences. Hang on a second. Pause, Phil. I'd like to mention there is actually a Breaking Bad RP map which I'm going to include here for shits and giggles.
Now that took Phil from the test.
One of the most important things, Walter White, the man himself, he has whole 4 models in the workshop. One of them even has a voiced character model, so you can hear Walter saying his catchphrases on
Say my name. Done. I say we're done.
a true breaking back moment
My back.
of the PS1 chemical suit, the heavy Walter, high definition Walter. You can even have Walter chase you around if you're into that sort of thing. But before we get to the final part of this video, please support quality content. Click subscribe and share your opinion in the comments. Your feedback leads to better videos for you. By the way, the map is Waltuh Struct, the best mod in today's mod list in my opinion, and I would also like to thank you for being a badass viewer. Here's what I can tell you after over 7,000 hours in Gmod. Click here to not miss out.